To make this lovely prawns chili fry, we first going to need to marinate our prawns. So I have here some nice thick huge tiger prawns, okay, which are about 20 in number. I'm going to add some salt. So add 1 teaspoonful of salt to this, 1 teaspoonful of chili powder, half a teaspoon of turmeric powder, half a teaspoon of cumin powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper powder. Lovely. Add 1/4 teaspoon of Shahi Garam Masala powder, 1/4 teaspoonful of white pepper powder, and 1 tablespoonful of ginger garlic paste. With prawns, garlic and ginger go real good. Okay, so the marination spices are through. I'm just going to mix these real good. Ensure you get raw prawns. Don't get cooked prawns, because we're going to cook these separately, otherwise they get mashed easily. Okay, so we've mixed our marination well. Okay, to this I'm going to add a pinch of Kashmiri chili powder, because I want to get the nice red color. Okay, just a pinch. Mix this real good. Okay, lovely. Let this sit with the marination for at least an hour. Okay, and then I'm going to show you how we proceed. In about an hour that my prawns have been marinating with the spices, so I'm now going to roll these in dry rice flour or wheat flour and toss it into this oil, which is about 3 to 4 tablespoons of oil in a nice non-stick pan. So I've taken some wheat flour in a separate dish, and I'm just going to take one prawn, toss it around and keep it at the side. So just finish a handful, and then you could drop them together into the oil, so it's easier to then turn them around at the same time. Don't apply too much of the flour, because we don't want them to have a very thick coating. It's just enough, just sufficient enough to kind of keep the marination and not let the spices fall off. Okay, so I'm just going to marinate. I'm just going to toss these in the flour and keep them ready, and then I'll just add it to the oil once it's nice and hot. Okay, so my oil is nice and hot now. I'm going to start tossing in the prawn. So keep them nice and separate so they're easier to turn around, and reduce the flame once the oil is nice and hot, because we don't want to burn the prawn. Now one of the things that you could do is, since we're frying these and getting them to be about 80% ready, you could add some oil if need be. But just add little by little so that your prawns don't soak up all the oil. So we just let them fry on one side on low flame for about 2 to 3 minutes, so that we have the coating for our prawn and the marination. And then I'm going to toss it around. Okay, so one side is done. I'm going to start tossing this around. Lovely, smells delicious. The flavor of the prawn with the ginger garlic paste and the spices. Wow. Put them at the side so that you could ensure that they don't soak up a lot of oil either. At the center, I'm just going to pour in a little more oil so that I can drop my remaining prawn. So in this way you end up making them all at the same time. They all taste and look the same, because the flavor is very important when it comes to a prawn. You've got to cook it the right way. Okay, now I'm going to start popping these out. So you could take them out into a dish and then put it into a nice kitchen oil so that kitchen towel can absorb all the extra oil. However, in restaurants that's not the way it's done, because it's just taken out with the oil. For the simple reason, you're going to toss this in the sauce, and the oil that the prawn will release then would be used in the sauce. So it's completely fine. I'm going to turn these. Okay, separate off. I'm just going to finish off my remaining ones. Lovely, we're done with our prawn. Now in the same marination bowl where you marinated your prawns, add some water and keep that ready, because for the sauce we're going to use the same marination water so we don't lose out on our spices. The prawns really fry quickly, so you've got to be alert and turn the flame down at the right time. Okay, I'm going to start lifting these. Lovely, look at the beautiful color, the way it's marinated, it's settled well, and just the right amount of flour. Guys, make it exactly the way I'm telling you and you're going to love this recipe. Just the last few ones. And I'm going to get this out. So importantly, we're not cooking these 100%, so you don't need to worry. It's just should be about 80 to 90% done, and that should be good enough because they will cook in the sauce as well. Okay, Keep that aside. Now in the same pan, I'm going to add another tablespoon of oil. Lovely. So I am using canola oil. You could use any. Prawns go really well with canola oil. Don't use olive oil, that's the only thing. Okay, so now I'm gonna need 2 green chilies which are large, okay, and 1 green chili which is slit and chopped into finer pieces. Lovely. I'm gonna need 7 to 8 peels of garlic. Okay. It's important that you fry the garlic because we need that taste of the roasted garlic. So let it toss around for a while in your pan with the green chilies. Lovely, so this has been tossing around. I'm going to add 1 large onion finely chopped. 7 to 8 curry leaves. Okay, give all this a mix. Okay, so add just about 4 cloves. Half a teaspoon of salt. Now salt will help release the moisture from the onion quicker, so which is how they'll get nice and light brown quicker. So we wait until these get slightly brown. Now that my onions have nicely browned, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of ginger garlic paste. Lovely. Give this a nice mix. Okay. Now going to add 1 bell pepper or green pepper or capsicum to this. We'll just fry together. Okay. And because we're not adding any water, we're going to add 1 finely chopped tomato at this stage, so that everything can cook in the moisture released by the tomato, and the tomato will also be nice and soft and moist and will ooze out all the water. Toss all this real good, and we wait for the tomatoes to become nicely squashed and release all the water, and for the bell pepper to be cooked in the same water. So lower the flame and close the lid of the dish. Lovely. And this will take about 10 minutes on low flame until they are nice and moist. Okay, so I've opened up the lid, and you see the tomato has got absolutely diminished, and my my green pepper is also absolutely cooked. So to this I'm going to add just 1 teaspoonful of curry powder. Okay, if you do not have curry powder, just add a little of red chili powder. That is half a teaspoon of red chili powder and half a teaspoon of garam masala powder. Just mix all this real good. Now if you like things to be a little more spicy, you could add 1 more teaspoonful of the curry powder, but I'm just going to settle with this because I don't want the flavor to get lost. It has to be, the focus is on the prawn really. Now remember, I told you to add some water to your marination bowl. Yes, so this is the stage where you add this water. back into your dish to create a beautiful sauce. Okay, mix this real good. Okay, now we wait until this comes to a slight boil. Now at this stage, if you like, you could taste the content of salt. Okay. Mine is a little less, so I'm just going to add about 1/4 teaspoonful of salt and wait for this to come to a boil. Okay, so this has begun coming to a boil. That's nice. Okay, at this stage I'm going to drop my prawn. So drop your prawns into this dish. Now one of the things that you could do, or what we do at the restaurants, is we drop half the proportion of prawn into the sauce and half the proportion we keep aside, for the simple reason that we serve it as a topping onto the dish. Okay, and it's kind of enjoyed by most of our customers that ways. And it goes well because you get to eat the prawn as is as well. You get to eat it with the sauce as well. So I'm just going to drop major portion of the prawn into this and just keep some of the prawns in the dish to serve as a topping when I serve the dish. So just gently get the sauce over the prawn. Okay, so that you do not get rid of your marination coating, most importantly. Okay, and this has begun boiling. I'm going to sprinkle some coriander. Okay, remember this dish needs the twigs of the coriander as well. It's important to get that flavor. So I'm going to add these. Lovely. Just reduce the flame and toss them like this. The sauce consistency is absolutely correct. Lovely. So your prawns chili fry is ready. Serve this with Indian flatbread, roti, naan. Before you serve this to the dining table, remember to top these up with these prawns, or it's going to be relished. So enjoy.